Good evening and welcome to Bent TV. Tonight we begin with Dykons 20 Years On, where the girls discuss lesbian spaces and how this has changed across the years. Then in Being Proper, bringing things to events like birthdays or dinner parties, and being late. And then to finish tonight, G Factor, we present the last segment in our discussion with Dr Margaret Smith and her book, Gene Genius.
Welcome to Dykons 20 Years On, and joining me today is Tennille.
Hi.
And Joe.
Hi.
Hi, thanks for coming in. We wanted to have a chat today about lesbian spaces. So I guess we could call them safe spaces or women-only spaces. So we used to have them. Do we still have them?
Oh, tricky. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Where I came out, there were no lesbian-only spaces. They were queer spaces, gay and lesbian spaces. But we used to have a lot more lesbian spaces, particularly here in Melbourne, and we're not seeing them anymore. So we're seeing kind of nights like Sundaylicious and Fixation Fridays at the Mersh. Yeah.
Ah, see, shows you my age. Fixation Friday.
It's new.
It's
new. It's fairly new. It's a good night,
where were the spaces when you were young? Not that you're old now.
I felt a little bit.
We know you've had a birthday.
Yeah, I have had a big birthday recently. So I think that there used to be more clubs. So we used to actually have clubs, and we used to have really designated nights. We used to, I mean, Gertrude Street was our street, wasn't it?
That's right.
But no.
Mama Cedars down at Mama.
Yeah. So, but no, we don't have those establishments anymore. In Queensland, we used to have a place called Red Books, and it was a bookstore and a cafe, but it was a lesbian space, and we don't have that anymore. So it's interesting.
So why do you reckon it's changed?
I think it's kind of a combination of the women who were seeking those spaces to connect with other lesbians have kind of gotten a little bit older, and the younger women coming through are finding that they can actually connect with people at anywhere because they're not necessarily clinging to those labels of lesbian or dyke or that sort of thing. So I think it's a combination.
Yeah. So Dykes on Bikes is presumably still a lesbian space?
Definitely.
So do you have events as well as
we have a lot of events. We have rides, club rides, where it's just club members and that. We have a few open rides every year where we invite people outside the club. And also every month we have our cafe ride where we all get together and just go and grab a bite to eat and just find that safe space at a cafe. But we don't seek a particular venue, but I guess the safe space is strength in numbers, I guess. Yeah. So, we can have 5 or 10 people, we can have 20 or 30 people, so but we're definitely identifiable, and we've never ever had a problem.
Oh,
it's always been safe. Never, not once.
But people interested?
Oh yeah, definitely. And we call it our meet and greet, so we often get people that are wanting to join the club. They'll come and meet us there, and they come and sit with us, and it's more of a social thing rather than just coming on a ride where it's even though you're in a group, you're still kind of on your own in your own helmet, and it's hard to connect with people. So that's why we invite people along to our cafe rides. It's just a lot easier. You can talk and get to know people.
It's slightly structured in the sense that someone's organised it so people can get there.
But definitely a safe space for everyone.
No, that's good, because I remember when I was sort of first coming out, and there were heaps of bars and clubs and things, but they were in the days when it was sort of like private function, so you had to sort of know the person on the door or look gay, which often I didn't, so they wouldn't let me in, and I'd have to go.
Yeah, get credentials, please.
Hello, it's a girlfriend.
Get a reference.
And we were actually in together. It sort of was started off that we're actually all in together. So the boys and girls were in together because it was sort of so underground. And I quite like that in a way, and then it became more separate women's nights, and I think they've got their advantages and disadvantages, that it's really nice to be in a space with just women where you can relax, and it's not even that you're going to be hassled, it's just that, I don't know, you can play your own music and not feel that...
Talk about things.
Yeah, that's right.
That are interesting and just things.
But I'm just wondering if sort of like the impact of, say, social media has changed that as well, just about, like Joe was saying about meeting people, and not even just for a relationship, but just for friendships and stuff like that.
Well, you do.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of women are using apps and that sort of thing to connect, which is interesting. I've never done that. I don't understand it. Maybe that's because I'm getting older.
Old school.
I'm very old school.
It's official.
But that was the way that you had to meet people, was to go out into a space and actually physically have a conversation.
And actually,
whereas now you can kind of swipe through, many women on your phone and have conversations and that sort of thing. So and I think that's definitely
and Pink Sofa, when that first came out, a few years ago.
Is it still going?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Pink Sofa.
But I think also too, I found a challenge. If you do find a safe space, it was always like on a Wednesday night or a Sunday night.
Yeah.
It's like
we
work too, We're actually out there in the workforce, have got to get up. So it makes it really difficult to go out, on a Wednesday or a Sunday night.
Yeah.
And in a smaller town where I grew up, you'd go out and a venue wouldn't last too long, past probably 6 to 12 months, because especially if it was on a weekly basis, it's always the same people. And it's always good to go out and catch up with your mates, but you don't do it every weekend.
No.
Kind of thing. You've got other things going on and all that.
Right.
So, every couple of months is always a good thing, and that's why venues just unfortunately don't last.
Yeah, it's about financial viability. I think.
Yeah, and the nights are great. I mean, your Sundaylicious is a fantastic. We shouldn't really advertise, should we?
Oh,
but there are certain
the one
nights
that's on
great.
A Sunday.
Yeah, once a month.
Yeah.
And it's kind of delicious.
Hey. Could think of a name for it if I was there. But I think there is the money angle. I think particularly, I could be generalising, but lesbians like to sort of know that they're there and go to them when they want to go, whereas maybe guys tend to go out more often.
There is also that kind of conundrum, I know definitely with the Queer Film Festival and with Midsummer, trying to connect with lesbians and getting them to get off their couches. So leave the cats and Netflix.
That's right.
Come out and do something and connect, because I think, they kind of get shack up and
get comfy.
Exactly.
And,
It's 6.
Bedtime.
Late.
Exactly. Remember that TV show Queer Eye for the Straight Guy?
Oh, yeah.
I was going to do Dyke Tips for Straight Chicks, which was...
That is amazing.
Put your tracky decks on and your Uggs, put the dogs on the bed, close the blinds at 8 o'clock.
And sensible.
Yeah, that's right. It was only going to be one show.
It's really easy. 5 tips.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good.
We should do that next time, bring our trackies and our Ugg boots.
And just kick back, you reckon?
That's right.
All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Bowl of popcorn.
Well, this time we're done. So thank you both for joining us on Dykons 20 Years On.
Hi there, welcome to Being Proper with Lisa-Skye, and my guest today is John Richards.
Hello.
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 Shall we be proper?
I'm always proper, Lisa. Lovely to meet you. I'm enjoying your hat.
It's my fancy hat for when I'm being fancy.
It's very fancy.
I wear it to every wedding. I have very strong feelings about this first one.
Yeah.
Bringing things to events, as in bringing a birthday present to a birthday party, bringing something to a dinner party. I hate that people don't bring people birthday presents or cards anymore.
See, I'm going to controversially disagree, and I say controversially because I was told in the green room I apparently am a monster, which I didn't realise on this.
Gasp.
I don't want people when I say don't bring anything, I mean do not bring anything. Do not bring anything. Because it'll be wrong. You'll bring the wrong thing.
No.
You'll ruin it all. And I don't like the expectation. I don't like the assumption that your guests are... Because, I don't know. Don't you have enough things, really? Okay, don't you think most people who aren't you have enough things? Okay.
What about consumable things?
I think that this is the thing too.
No one has enough experiences.
I spent a few months recently working for a not-for-profit environmental group, and now I know everything I'm doing is wrong.
Okay.
I'm fully aware of how I'm destroying the earth at any particular moment. It hasn't changed my behaviour. I just feel mildly more guilty about it. But if I can stop someone bringing me a packet of plastic-wrapped Ferrero Rochers, I'm happy to to be. I'm like Jesus.
Are you Greek?
No,
yeah,
I'm
there
not.
you go.
Is this a WOG thing? Is it a WOGgy thing?
I think it's a WOG thing that, because all right, so if it's a dinner party, I won't bring food for now. I'll bring like a nice little thing for them for tomorrow, like a thing of Turkish delight or something tiny. Just thank you for inviting me into your home. Here is this.
That's what I don't like, because I don't like the idea you're turning the event into a transaction. That's what I don't like. The idea that there's almost like
it's a gratitude. Gratitude's not a transaction.
Yeah, but then it becomes like, what if the gift you're bringing is not worth enough? You know, or what if it's
No, they're
too
horrible
much?
people.
I just think that if we all just went, hey dudes, let's chill out. You know, I had a birthday party last year. I didn't tell them it was my birthday party. It was just a dinner party. I was inviting some friends. I didn't want them to know, and then they all found out and freaked out they hadn't brought gifts. I was like, no, don't. Just don't.
I don't want this.
Just don't. That's my political.
I know, because I have a lot of friends, because all my friends are either artists or academics or sex workers or performers.
So they're all poor.
They all have no money.
Yeah.
And I don't want, and also if you're going out for a birthday, like, you know, if you're doing this and then this and then this, although I have my birthdays at home because it's a several day event, I don't want people to bring me presents necessarily, but I want people to bring me cards. Like, I always bring a birthday card because that's such a beautiful thing. It's like, I take a birthday of someone to be like, hey John, you know, these are the things I enjoy about you. I think you matter. Thank you for being in my life. Here's a birthday card. Because that's the best way to remind yourself to kind of...
I'm okay with cards. I'll tell you the other thing I would almost like a return to. Thank you notes.
Yes!
You know how your gran always said write a thank you note?
I love thank you notes.
So yeah, because I had a dinner party recently. I thought, you know what, I'd like that more. Little thank you note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because you're putting the effort in, and it's like I said, it's not a transactional thing. It's I acknowledge this, thank you. And it doesn't have to be expensive. Like, you know, I know that I have some friends who are very, very wealthy. So if they get me something that's, you know, kind of like a really nice something, a really nice dong, I'll be like, good, this is silicone and I enjoy that and this is within your means. Whereas, like I said, if my friend literally, you know, kind of swipes an envelope from somewhere, folds it in half and makes me a birthday card, that's my favourite thing.
But if your rich friend turns up and it's a dong they've obviously just bought from like from a supermarket or from a petrol station, would you judge them because you know they could have bought you a nicer dong?
No, I don't, because it's still a thought. Like, I'm so starved for people gestures. Like when you gave me that fleshlight. You know, I was so happy. I ended up wrecking it.
To be fair, I was trying to get rid of the fleshlight, and it turns out you can't put them on eBay. I discovered they will stop you. Yes, if you try and put a fleshlight on eBay, it will be shut down.
I mean, quick sidebar, I destroyed that thing.
Which is funny because they're quite hardy.
Yeah, they are. It took a while, but it was good times. I'm gonna do some quick fire as far as bringing stuff. So it's my birthday and I've invited everyone to my house. What do you reckon?
Come dressed as a lobster.
Rock lobster?
Any lobster will do.
Okay, so rock, regular, red.
Crayfish, all good.
Oh, the Australian, the ochre lobster. All right, I think if it's a birthday at home, bring a very small present if it's within your means, something consumable, and also a card, a really nice card. Okay?
Cards are nice. Yeah.
A present, like so what if someone's like, yeah, I'm having, like, I just got this news, or I'm going away, or like there's an event on, meet at this bar or this restaurant.
Yeah.
Bring anything?
I would say hide in the toilets until they get drunk enough and leave.
Sure.
Yep.
I'd say a nice card. And just a dinner party. It's not an occasion. It's just like I'm making a big deal. It's a degustation situation.
Burn the house to the ground.
Okay. I'm saying a thank you note afterwards and a nice bottle of alcohol if they drink alcohol, or otherwise just something in plastic. Okay, I think that's done.
I think we're broadly agreeing.
All right. We are.
Yeah.
I feel like there are consistencies.
Yeah.
Should we do another one really quick?
Yeah, go.
Being late.
Being late, I'm against it to a sort of slightly ragey kind of degree. My whole thing with being late, though, this thing that really annoys me being late, I feel if you're late, you know you're late at least half an hour before you're late.
Yes.
That's my thing. You know you're late.
Yes.
You know
because
that.
There's commute.
Yes. You can't be 1 minute away from somewhere and suddenly time turns into a strange, unexplainable void.
Yes.
You know, it's like
Well, it kind of.
But you know at some point, 20 minutes before you're late, call someone to tell them that you're late.
Yes.
Don't call them at the moment you're late.
And a sincere call. This is like a generation.
Don't text.
Not a
Do not
generational
text.
thing.
Do not text.
Do not text.
That doesn't count.
But it's not a generational thing because it happens to my friends across all ages, but it's a thing that's only happened in the last 5 years. It's not sincere. Like, I'm so sorry I made you wait 15 to 30 minutes. It's like they get there and be like, oh, sorry.
Right, so nothing
late,
at all?
No,
nothing.
just a, look at me and my crazy life. Or they'll text and say, oh, can we meet 2 hours afterwards? And that is like that's a sometimes thing. It's like, we've known each other for a long time. You know I don't usually do this, but I have this compelling circumstance as to why I need to meet in 2 hours.
You do need a story. I think, look, if you're going to be late and you have a cool story, you know, if it's like, I was on the way and this nun exploded, you know, I'll go with that. That's kind of cool. Like I will
accept exploding
I was
nuns.
late recently because I was on the tram and it got hit by a truck, you know, and part of the tram came off and we had to get off and catch another tram. I know. The things I suffer through. And yeah, but that gives you a great anecdote at the other end. I don't mind that. If you can give me an anecdote for your lateness, but if you're just late because...
Okay,
you know.
So don't be late. If you are late, have a compelling reason and also be apologetic about it and call rather than text. I think that's... Look, we've solved a lot.
I think we're better people.
We're better people.
I think you're better people.
Please, always endeavour to be a good person. This was Being Proper with Lisa-Skye and John Richards. I can't see.
Thank you for staying with us on G Factor on Ben TV. We're with Dr Margie Smith. We've got Joe here and Simone.
What about the body clock gene? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, in terms of relationship, because I think that's really interesting.
We always want to know about relationships.
Yeah, so it seems kind of weird, doesn't it? They've got this body clock, but body clocks make us wake up in the morning and go to sleep at night, and they interact with our sunlight. So some people can get a bit flat if they don't get enough sunlight. You hear people in the wintertime going, oh, I hate the winter, always feel a bit low, and they're off to Queensland for a holiday for a couple of weeks.
That's me.
But so there are people who are programmed with their genes to be the night owl or the lark. So probably one of the worst combos that you can have is a night owl or a lark, especially in relationship, because one's wanting to sit up late and the other one's wanting to go to bed early and wake up early. So you know, you've got to make sure that those body clock genes are, you know, in sync. And you know, the other thing is sleep is so important for our brain health. You know, your brain needs to basically clear out all of the chemicals overnight. Basically, you know, Rubert's what we pee out in the morning is all those leftover chemicals from our brain in the morning. So
I have lots.
Yeah, lots of brain activity, Joe.
Yes, correct.
So it's really important. I mean, and these clock genes, they can also affect people in terms of how much social activity they want. If you've got a variant in one of those genes, then you may have low levels of social activity, which means you really don't want to socialise a lot.
Quite interesting, because in your younger days you have that social activity, you want that, but as you get older you'd rather just sit at home and watch TV and have a cup of hot chocolate.
Yeah, but are you doing that with someone else? If you're doing it with someone else, that's great, but human beings don't actually age very well if they don't have social activity. We know that people age a whole lot better when they have social activity. They've got networks and friends. Human beings are designed to operate in communities. So if you want to age well, be part of a community or join a sports club, find other people with common interests so that you know, you can age a lot better.
Now, what I'm fascinated in, because I've got poor detoxification pathways, is that detoxification. Like, you know, I've had to change my life dramatically by, you know, removing all chemicals from the house and putting on my body. So I don't wear deodorant that's got all those aluminium in it, and I use organic hair shampoo and it's not as good, but it's better because for my body.
Yeah, so some people detoxify their environment so much better than others, but I think probably the most important aspect that we need to talk about is, you know, pre-polluted babies. Our environment is so toxic these days that when mums are pregnant, basically what they're sampling from the environment, so too is their baby, their unborn child. And it's getting worse and worse. So, you know, to put cord blood, you can actually see the environmental load or the toxins in those samples. And what we now know is that, in Buddhist terms, talking about becoming one with our environment. Well, that's actually what's happening. Our DNA is basically full of debris. These environmental toxins are caught up in that twisted double helix. So in between those little rungs of the DNA ladder, environmental toxins insert themselves. Now, human beings are pretty amazing. We've got these two main enzymes that come along, and they're a bit like roadworks, the council roadworks. One of them comes along and goes, oh, there's something bulging out of the DNA here, we need to repair that. So it puts a flag there. So that's its job. It sticks a flag in the DNA. And then the one that does the actual roadwork repair, it comes along and goes, oh, there's a flag there. I'm going to cut out this piece and we'll repair the DNA. Environmental toxins are very clever. What they do is they lock down the DNA, so they alter the shape of the helix a little bit. So the guy with the flag doesn't see the toxin, or it can't get the flag in, so it doesn't get marked for repair. So what happens is our DNA makes copies of itself. So you then replicate these genetic lesions or environmental toxins.
Goodness.
Another thing I'm fascinated with is vitamin D, because that's a biggie. We've been trained to think slip, slop, slap, but there's actually some really interesting
Sunlight,
science.
vitamin D.
Sunlight, that's right.
It's the best source.
Yeah, sunlight's a really good source. Certain nutrients are really good to help with vitamin D. But when we look at the vitamin D pathway, some people, when they're out in the sun, don't actually get good conversion. So we rely on sunlight to hit our skin. That's the first part of the pathway. So I've had people say to me, I couldn't possibly have vitamin D insufficiency. I'm a courier driver. I'm out in the sun. I'm a postie. I'm in the sun all day. I can't have low levels of vitamin D. And lo and behold, they do, because their processing pathway is faulty. So some of the genes involved in that pathway are faulty. And vitamin D is so important for mental health, cardiovascular health, weight loss. It's part of our immune response. So, really hugely important. And so many people have low levels of vitamin D. So slip, slop, slap has been, I think it's important, but I think also that people are really too vigilant on it and we're just not getting enough vitamin D. So low levels are not good at all.
Salt.
Salt. So hypertension. So have you seen Kitty Flanagan's latest routine where she's got her grandparents over for dinner and she cooks them dinner, and no sooner has she got the plates on the table then they're saying, where's the salt? And Kitty's called it cocaine for the elderly. So too much salt or sodium is bad for us, and it can lead to hypertension for some people. So the most important thing is to get a more natural form of salt. So you want a salt that's low in sodium, more potassium, magnesium, which is much, much better. So it's more natural, it's more attuned to our bodies. And interestingly, just a little aside, there was a study done in Finland over 10 years. They changed the composition of salt to a more natural salt. So even in McDonald's in Finland, over that 10-year period, they had to use a natural salt. They reduced hypertension, heart attack, stroke by 60% by changing the composition of salt.
Wow.
So it's one very small thing that we can all do is get a more natural salt.
What sort of salt do you use, Jo?
Sea salt.
Sea salt.
I see salt and I put it on my meal. All over it.
None of that table salt.
Yeah.
So I actually had a practitioner tell me that she doesn't use Celtic sea salt, and I said, why is that? And she said, because birds poop in it. So I think she was using Murray River salt or something like that. So I'm not sure if that's true, but anyway.
So would it be fair to say that you've cut salt out of your diet completely?
Oh no, you don't have to cut salt out. We do
reduce
need
it.
to have some, but it's the composition of that salt, so more natural salt. So those pink coloured salt that you can buy in the supermarket, use that, but read the label, because some companies have changed horrible white table salt pink.
Yeah.
So if you don't read the labels, you could be just using pink table salt.
But you've got to read the labels of everything now, because there's high fat, saturated fats, high sugar, and high salt. Like everything's so toxic now.
Because they want to preserve things, they want food to taste good, they want our brains, reward circuitry, remember we talked about that? To be totally engaged and just keep you doing repetitive things. I mean, that's why people become sex addicts, because it feels good. And they get addicted. To it.
Me just then. Is
that the problem? Is that your problem, do you think? Are you a sex addict?
No, I'm a
or are you a
love
love
addict.
addict?
There's love and there's sex.
Yeah, I think you're
Do
a
you go
love
hand
addict.
in hand?
No, I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
I
might
don't think you're a sex addict. I think you're addicted
Thanks
to love.
for that diagnosis.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Now, what do you think, Doctor?
Do you think she's sex or love? What do you reckon?
Oh, I think Joe's probably a mix of really cool and very loving. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to have those in my genes.
So thank you very much for joining us on G Factor. Hope it was good for you as it was for us.